welcome back to the channel. We are continuing our adventures in Minecraft with the Create mod, and as you can see, we're making cakes. I'm going to go through the process of how I put all this together with you, but first, let me remind you to please be sure to like, subscribe, do the notification things, because as everybody knows, if we don't ask you, you're probably going to forget to do it, so that's my little self-serving public announcement thing. But as you can see, we are automatically making cakes right now. And it took me a long time. It took me a lot of trial and error to figure out how to make this work, but it's finally working, and now we have cakes. And I'm actually surprised I was able to figure out how to not have to make buckets. So let's go through this process really quick so you guys can see how it's working, and we'll just show you how it works. So I have the recipe for the cakes when it comes to these mechanical crafters is 1 dough, 2 sugar, an egg, and then a bucket of milk. So if we look at the cake recipe, we can see that there's 2 different recipes. You can do one that uses wheat, but that uses up a lot more milk, or you can do one that has dough and that only uses 1 milk, and then the middle is still the same. So I figured, since I'm already making dough over here to make the bread, why don't I just split off some of that dough, have it come off, and it still comes back to the same line. It's just now it's bypassing the baking process, right? So one set goes through the baking process to become bread. The other side comes through this process to skip the firing process to become dough. And then dough gets pulled off. Any dough that makes it through here gets pulled into this chest and then put onto this line here and gets ready to be fed into the system for our dough, which is here on the bottom. And then I basically just branched off the eggs and the sugar that I have for the blaze cakes, for the blaze cake bases that we saw before. And those just fall down onto a conveyor belt here, get sorted into chests over here, and get dropped onto this conveyor belt here. And then, so all of that was relatively simple to do. It didn't really require a lot of thought and effort and trial and all that stuff. I just had to figure out, okay, how am I going to get all this stuff on the same conveyor belt, which it all ended up working out pretty good. So where I was really having a hard time was with the buckets. So I needed to get the buckets in here in a way that allowed me to use a funnel here, and I was trying to put it in from the back. I tried to put it in from the front, and it just wasn't really working very well. But then I was like, oh, I can put it in over here from the side. So the cool thing about this setup is that I'm reusing the buckets over and over again. So I actually don't need any more buckets to continue making cakes. So the way this works is that as you can see, when a bucket gets used, it goes onto the conveyor belt here, and it goes onto my main conveyor belt all around the factory line, this is the line that takes everything and sends it up to my storage sorting area. So if we go up to my storage sorting area, you can see that the milk buckets, I don't know if you'll see one right now. Okay, so empty buckets come up here, cakes come up here. All right, so you see how milk buckets are coming up here? This one assembly line is the one that goes all the way around my factory and is kind of like the transport hub for everything. So empty milk buckets come up here and full milk buckets come up here. I have empty milk buckets being siphoned off to be sent back to where they're going to be filled up again, and then full milk buckets come down to this chest here, are put into that chest, and then they come out on this conveyor belt that takes them into that top mechanical crafter. So basically, I have it set up so that there's a backlog of the rest of the materials, and then as soon as a milk bucket is fed in, it makes the recipe, separates it into a cake and an empty bucket. The bucket gets pulled off and sent up here to this line. And this line connects all. I don't know that I'm going to be able to show you that, but the line connects all the way up to this up here. So this is where the empty buckets come out. So it gets pulled off with that brass filter into a chest. There's a series of conveyor belts that bring it over this way, and then this is just the same main line. This was just the start of the main line conveyor belt system that I have that just brings all of my random stuff around the facility to bring it, because the whole idea was to bring it to my storage system. Then I have a set of tunnels here. It lets everything else through on this one, and then empty buckets come up the conveyor belt here on this one. And then I have a series of brass tunnels that are set to round robin this stuff and just go into these tunnels over here. Once they go into the tunnels, they get put into these deployers, and then the deployer keeps trying to milk a cow until it's able to milk a cow. And then once it's able to actually milk the cow, it sends a... Ooh, I wonder if that's actually going to drop there because that's there. Sorry, I got distracted. Once it actually is successful in milking a cow, it drops its milk bucket onto the conveyor belt here. The conveyor belt takes it all the way downstairs to the to the main sorting area, gets sorted into that chest that I showed you in the beginning. So yeah. It's overly complicated probably, but I think I just heard it. Yeah, I just saw it. I just heard milk getting... Oh, there's another milk. So I see the milk gets dropped down there onto the main line, and then eventually it gets sorted, it gets pulled off the line into that chest that we saw. So that is the automated cake production facility. So now we're making bread and cake at the same time, and again, we're trying to find multiple uses for spaces that we're doing. So, you know, rather than trying to figure out, oh, how am I need to set up a production line for wheat, I said, oh, well, I already have dough, and there is a recipe that uses dough, and it has the benefit of using less milk, I guess because we already added some water in the process there. But yeah, so if you want to make a cool automated cake facility like this one, feel free to copy my design, and I encourage comments below. If you see flaws in my systems or inefficiencies and things that just, you know, you're looking at it and like, why did you do it that way when there's clearly a more logical and streamlined way of doing it, please let me know, because I am a big fan of efficiency, and I am not too proud to say, hey, yeah, there's a better way. So that's it for the cake facility. I think since the last time that you guys saw this, I cleaned up this area quite a lot. It was sticking down quite a lot more than it is now. But I've kind of compacted everything and brought everything up to where it doesn't go down any more than one level below the floor up here, just so we have more space down here more space for activities. And then I did go ahead and adjust the main factory floor line so that a lot of things are moving faster, because I wanted to make sure that we're getting enough gravel moving through here that we can make as much iron as possible. And I wanted to make sure that we weren't wasting time, because when you looked before, the speed of the conveyor belts was making it so that there was just always a backlog of cobblestone just kind of sitting here. So I kind of separated things out so that not all of my conveyor belts are moving at the same speed. I obviously don't want my washing station and my firing station over here to be moving at lightning speed. They need to have time to wash and then bake the bricks when they turn into bricks. And I don't really need my sand production line to be going all that fast, because, you know, the process over here has the same problem. So having that move quickly was not making much sense. But I needed to clear out a backlog here so that I could make as much so I can make as much cobblestone as possible. And then I wanted, yeah, I gotta be careful about that. And then I wanted to make sure that I was processing this whole section over here as quickly as possible too, because the more gravel I can push through this system over here, the more iron I can make, and just make sure we don't run out of iron. So I think that's it for all of the changes that we've done since the last time you guys have seen any of this. Oh, and I did realize that when I made some changes over here, I had screwed up my plank production facility. So yeah, that was kind of a bummer. And then just in case, because I don't remember if I did or not, I'm just gonna rehash my boiler setup over here. I'm pretty sure I showed you guys all of this, but this was all empty like 10 minutes ago because I had screwed up my wood production. So, but you know, it's 6 blaze burners that's feeding the boiler up there, and that's it. All right, so I think that's pretty much it for today's episode. I know it's not a lot, at least it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it took a very long time. It took me 2 days to figure this out, because planning all of this stuff is just very difficult. But hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Like I said, be sure to like, subscribe, do all of those things that help channels grow. And I I will try to come up with a project between now and then. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you're enjoying the series, and you have a great day.